Well, they've done it again. It is now possible to install Windows NT on the Nintendo Wii, and it's all made possible by that same person who made the NT to PowerPC Mac port that we explored late last year. So, I had to check this out, and a bunch of you guys wanted me to dive into this, so that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. So we're going to begin here on the GitHub page for the NT for Workcubes project, gotta love that name, where you can get the latest version and of course all the information about it and a little tutorial on how to install this on your GameCube, Nintendo Wii, Wii Mini if you have an SD card hard mod, or the Wii U's Virtual Wii. We're going to be using, as you saw, a standard original Nintendo Wii for this video, and we're going to be installing Windows NT 4.0 on it. Now you can also do NT 3.51 or the NT 3.51 betas, but you cannot install Windows NT 3.5 because it only supports PowerPC 601. The Wii's PowerPC Broadway processor is practically identical to the PowerPC 750CL. And the install process appears to be pretty straightforward. I've not done this yet, so we're going to find out, how well it goes for me, which, this channel has a track record of things always going wrong, so we'll see if we get into any shenanigans later on in the video. But all we have to do is download the latest release, which was released on March 3rd as of me recording this video. That's the latest version. You also need to have, of course, an ISO file for your respective NT version, copy that over to the SD card, create a raw disk image, put that on the SD card, and then load up the Wii, go to the homebrew channel, and start the installer from there. So I've got everything in this folder here. We're going to open up the latest release and just extract all of this to the root of our SD card. Then we're going to go back up and rename our ISO file to disk00.iso and copy that over to the SD card. So we'll do a Control-C, go into the NT folder, and paste it in here. And there we go. So next up, we want to make the raw hard disk image. Now, you can do this by using, and the author suggests to use a QEMU IMG, which comes with QEMU. And on Windows, you'll need an elevated command prompt to do that, navigated, of course, to the QEMU directory and program files. So we're going to run QEMU-IMG create, and we're just going to call this disk00.img. And we're going to do 2 gigabytes as the file size. Now, the author does point out, it's worth noting, that the maximum file size on a FAT32 partition is 4 gigs. That's not the maximum partition size, just the maximum size of a file you can have on a partition. So we're just going to do 2 gigabytes. That is actually what the author does in this command here. I figured it would work fine for our needs. So we're going to do that. It'll create the image. We're going to go into this and just copy this image over to that NT folder on the SD card. And after that, I believe we are good to go. So we can eject the SD card, pop it into the Wii, and get this show on the road. Alrighty, so the ARC loader shows up on the homebrew channel with just no icon or anything. If we go to the list view here, you see ARC LDR, no description, so we're going to go ahead and load that. Before we do, though, I want to mention that one of the cool things about this project is you can actually use a GameCube controller as the mouse. Now, I had a viewer named Dan reach out to me. He was one of the people who suggested that I do this video. And I want to thank him because he actually gave me a lot of useful information that he got from his attempt at trying to do this. And he mentioned that when he installed it on his Wii, the GameCube controller, if you tried to use that, the keyboard would stop working. That has apparently been fixed by the developer. So we're going to see if we can use both the GameCube controller and a USB keyboard that I have plugged in right here as well. So we're going to load ARC loader. And I believe this should be a pretty similar process that we experienced on the PowerPC Mac. In fact, yeah, this menu looks exactly the same. So let's see, I can press the arrow keys to navigate around this menu. Can we use the GameCube controller? Let's see. We totally can. We can use the analog stick and the D-pad. Now, I imagine this is being recognized as like a keyboard right now because, Dan said in his email that it was when it's functioning as a mouse, it caused the keyboard to stop completely working. So we'll have to wait till we boot into like the graphical setup to see if we can, navigate around with this and move the pointer around and, use the keyboard as well. But it sounds like from what the developer said, that issue has been fixed in this version. So from this point, what we have to do is go into run firmware setup. I'm just reading off of the guide right now. And we're going to say repartition disk or disk image for NT installation. We're going to select our 2 GB disk image, and it'll say warning, all data on this disk will be lost. Do you want to proceed? Yes, we do. So it's going to do that. Press any key to restart. All right. So I think the entire console is just restarting right now because the disk drive is doing that thing. So we got to go back into the menu, and now we can run NT setup from CD00. And there we go. Look at that, Windows NT setup. Isn't that freaking awesome? And yeah, if you haven't already figured this out, I guess I've not mentioned this specifically, but this is not using any emulation or something like that. I mean, we've installed like Windows on the Wii before using DOSBox, but this is natively running NT on this hardware, which is just pretty freaking insane. So, okay, at this point, it's going to say that it could not determine the type of computer we have. That's pretty obvious. So we're going to have to go with other. And then the guide just says to press enter at this screen. We're going to choose Nintendo, GameCube, Wii, and Wii U, the only option. And it's going to load those necessary drivers. And now we get another error saying that it could not determine the type of one or more mass storage devices. This is all going to plan according to the guide, so this is good. We're going to have to press S to specify an additional device. And then from this screen, we want to select other. Press A once again, or just enter. And from here we have a choice of what drivers we want to load depending on what hardware we're actually utilizing. So the top one here is for the Wii SD card slot, which we are using. We've got the USB ports on the back of the Wii. We're using those as well for the USB keyboard. And then we have the Nintendo GameCube controller ports. We're using those as well. The bottom one, SD Gecko or IDE EXI and compatible. This is for if you're using an SD card adapter on the GameCube. The SD Gecko is an SD to GameCube memory card adapter. So we're not using that on here. So we're just going to, I think we have to do this 3 times. So we're going to select this and then, yeah, specify additional, other, enter, go down to here, specify additional, other, enter, go down to the last one. We've got all those loaded, so we can press enter. And then we once again get an error, this time about the video adapter. So we're going to select other, press enter, and then we've got 2 different flipper drivers, one for NT4, one for NT3X. We're of course going to choose NT4. And I believe that, yeah, here we are on the boot screen. Look at that. And yeah, we're back in the setup. Okay. So I think from this point, we just do enter. It looks like it's recognized the 3 drivers we need. So we're going to hit enter to continue. And then page down to agree to the license terms, or page down a whole bunch of times here. F8, I agree. And then we do need to change keyboard here from unknown to the only other option here, XT, AT, or enhanced keyboard. And then go to pointing device and change that to no mouse or other pointing device. And that should be it. Everything else, according to the guide here, looks good. So we're going to choose the C drive, which shows up as unformatted or damaged. Setup will have to reformat this partition. Okay, so we're going to press C to continue. And I don't think the file system matters, so we're going to do NTFS. And yeah, WinNT. All right. Setup will now examine your hard disk for corruption. Okay. And there we go. All right. So yeah, it's copying files. Let's hope it all goes to plan, that we don't get any more error messages. But there are some known issues I'm reading here in the guide. So we may experience some problems, but let's hope for the best. And check this out, the CD drive light here I think is acting as a hard drive read-write indicator. And there we go. So finished successfully. We didn't get any errors, so we'll press enter to restart. Okay, this time we just actually go back to the homebrew channel. So we can just go in here and load Arc Loader once more. And this time around we should just have, because, you know, I do remember this from the other video, we should just have an option to boot into Windows NT, or I think it's going to automatically start for us with that timeout. Yep, it's got that 3-second or 4-second, whatever it was, timeout there at the bottom. So yeah, start Windows NT 4.0. And there we go, OS Loader. Yep, at this point it's just a standard boot process, I believe. Okay, it's going to run check disk. That's pretty typical. Yes, it's converting the file system to NTFS because it still formats it as FAT, and yeah, we've talked about this before a few times when we've installed NT4 on this channel. It doesn't actually create the partition as NT, it converts it at this point. So, we're kind of creating an extra, perhaps unnecessary step because you could totally just use this with a FAT partition if you want to. But a couple limitations of this project is that right now network support is not here at all. So you can't, connect this to the internet. You cannot use even the USB Ethernet adapter that Nintendo had available for the Wii. However, the author has mentioned that network support is planned, so that'll be pretty cool if that ever happens. Another limitation is there are some issues with certain USB mass storage devices, and this is something that Dan mentioned in his email. He said that you might be able to get a USB drive to work if you connect it before the operating system is launched, but something that he did that we're going to try out if we cannot get a USB drive to work to transfer stuff over here is to just replace disk00.iso, the install image that we have on the SD card right now, with another ISO with the exact same name, just with, the files we want on it to copy over to the hard drive. There's also no audio support, but that is planned according to the issues page on the GitHub. And I'm wondering here if maybe selecting NTFS was a bad idea, because I feel like this is taking way too long to convert the file system. It could have very well hung here. I'm gonna just search the GitHub page and see if there's any mention of, okay, not on the front page. Let's go to issues here. No issues mentioning NTFS. Okay. Well, we're just gonna give it some more time here and see if it finishes up, but I feel like it should be done by now. Well, yeah, it definitely should have been done by now because it's been over an hour and we're still here. So, we don't really have any choice but to force power off the Wii and just go through the setup process again. And I'm just going to select the FAT file system because, I mean, it got through the install totally fine, and it was able to create the partition, which again created a FAT partition, which was then trying to convert to NTFS, and that's where it screwed up. So, let's go ahead and hop back into the homebrew channel and basically do that entire process again. And we're done. I just realized the moment that I hit format, the partition from the Arc Loader menu, I was like, I wonder if we could just try to, like, go into it again and see if maybe it'll just boot to the desktop this time, but whatever. I mean, we've got it reinstalled on just a FAT partition, so let's see if this just allows us to boot normally. So we're gonna save a couple seconds here and boot off of the hard drive. All right. So yeah, we are here in the graphical portion of the setup, and let's see if I can totally move the mouse pointer around with the GameCube controller. That's so freaking cool. And yeah, it's just the analog stick. The D-pad here doesn't do anything. And let's try the C stick. No, we can't do that. So, I'm gonna definitely, I guess we can just go with typical. Let's see if A is, yeah, so A is left click. I imagine B is right click. Yes, B is right click, because that opens up a context menu. So, we're gonna put in my name. We're gonna call this NT for the computer name. Not gonna bother with an admin password. We do not need an emergency repair disk, and I guess we can see the list of components, and we can grab, yeah, let's definitely get the games, multimedia, Windows messaging we don't need, and we'll get all the accessories. So, that should be good. This computer is not going to be on the network, so we will just select that and hit finish. And, oh yeah, of course, time zone, all this stuff. Okay, so it's found the FP-VIGX compatible display adapter. So, I mean, I imagine that's the right one. Can we change the resolution at all, or are we going to be stuck at 640 by 480? I think we are. So, yeah. We got true color, though, so that's nice. And, yeah, 60 hertz. I mean, that seems all fine to me. And, yeah, it's copying files again. Windows NT 4 has been installed successfully. So, let's restart the computer. And we'll see if this does a whole console restart, or if it just kicks us back to the homebrew channel. Which it kicks us back to the homebrew channel. Alright, so let's go back in here, load up Arc Loader again. I'm going to see how long I can go just using the GameCube controller as a mouse, because, I mean, hey, that seems appropriate with the console that we're doing this on. And yeah, of course, a future video idea is installing this on the GameCube. In fact, there's a bunch of homebrew projects I want to do on the GameCube eventually. So, okay, Control-Alt-Delete. We'll do that from the keyboard here. Oh, hang on a second. I don't know if the keyboard is being recognized. Okay, so this is that issue that Dan had mentioned. Okay, well, I am pressing caps lock, and that does come on and off. So that's a good sign. It might just be, I mean, this is an Apple keyboard, so these keys could be mapped differently. I mean, I'm trying Control-Option-Delete, Control-Command-Delete. Now, the guide mentions that hot plugging USB devices are not supported. You know, we're going to try this anyway, so I'm going to plug in another keyboard to the top USB port here. And Control-Alt-Delete, yeah, of course, that's not, that's not going to work. So I only have this USB keyboard plugged into the ports on the back, and then I, of course, have the GameCube controller. So, mouse is working, Control-Alt-Delete. Okay, that's working. So I guess it was just the keyboard that I was using, or maybe it was a fluke, I don't know. But we don't have an admin password, so we can just press enter to log in. And there we go. Welcome to Windows NT. So we apparently cannot hot swap USB devices. I wonder if we can do GameCube controller. So I'm going to reach over here and unplug the GameCube controller, and we'll plug it back in. And yep, that totally works. Now, one thing that I want to briefly reiterate from my Windows NT on PowerPC Max video is that this version of NT4 for PowerPC is actually capable of running both DOS applications and 16-bit Windows applications through the use of a built-in compatibility layer. But you are able to run some 32-bit Windows applications by utilizing a program called Soft Windows 32 from Motorola that I demonstrated in that video. So we're going to try to run like Doom and maybe some other games a little bit later on in this episode. But one thing I want to do first is try out the good old ASCII keyboard controller for the GameCube with this, because according to the GitHub page, this is supposed to work, but it has not been tested yet. So we're going to test it right now and see if we can utilize both the, GameCube controls on it as well as, the keyboard. And I'm curious to see if, since we just confirmed that we are able to hot swap, things on the GameCube ports, if we can do that, with this, because there are, if you didn't see my video about this, there are two separate GameCube connections on this, one for the GameCube controls and the white one here is for the keyboard. So I'm going to unplug the GameCube controller that I already have plugged in, and we'll get these plugged in. So let's see. All right, the analog stick is working. Let's go down here to the start button, press A. That works. And can we go to run? And oh man, okay, that is not working. You see, I wonder if the keyboard, like if this has to be connected before the system even starts up. So, all right, let me just go to cancel here, and we'll go down and just restart. Or actually, I think shut down will bring us back to the homebrew channel. I'm actually not sure if it matters. Restart might do the same thing. Oh, look at that. It's just, we get the restart option anyway because we have to, like, force power off. So if we hit restart, will this bring us back? I think it is. Yes, perfect. Okay, so we're going to go back here, load it up. All right, let me see if I can do Control-Alt-Delete. Oh, man. Okay, I can't do Control-Alt-Delete on the ASCII keyboard controller, so that's not looking good. I mean, the analog stick is working for the mouse, but we'll have to just do it on the regular USB keyboard here. I wonder if maybe the USB keyboard being plugged in is kind of, conflicting with it. We got to the login screen. Let's try Control-Alt-Delete. Oh, holy cow, it works. Whoa, okay. No freaking way. Okay, so it was the USB keyboard. I mean, I guess having this plugged in just conflicted with the keyboard on the ASCII controller, because if we go in here and we go to run, and let me just bring this on camera so you can see, as I mash on the keyboard here, it totally works. That's just freaking awesome. So yeah, we can use the ASCII keyboard controller, I mean, both components of it, Now, I do want to try out some Windows applications, but before we do that, I'm just curious to see what shows up in my computer. So we've got our C drive, we have our D drive, which is, okay, OS WinNT4. So this is some other drive that it's created, some other image. Oh gosh, yeah, maximizing stuff kind of sucks when you have to, you know, move all the way over here with the analog stick. But so yeah, you got the C drive, and then here is the ISO file that we have mounted, which is how we're going to copy our, you know, the programs and stuff we want to install over to the hard drive on here. Alright, I have returned, and turns out there's a far easier way to copy files over to the hard drive image instead of just mounting a bunch of different ISOs, because I had to copy a lot of stuff over for what we're about to do. What you can do is just open up the virtual hard disk image in something like WinImage and just inject all the files you need. So that's what I've done, and you can see here that, yeah, we have a lot of stuff, and yeah, you guys know the rule, and I know what you're probably saying. Didn't you try this already? Well, we're going to get to that in a minute, okay? So first thing we're going to do is hop into the Doom folder here. And one thing I do want to clarify that a couple people pointed out that I got a little bit incorrect in the last video. Windows NT for PowerPC is capable of running both 16-bit and 32-bit DOS applications, but only 16-bit Windows applications through that emulation layer. It actually just uses NTVDM. So it's the 32-bit Windows applications that you need to have soft Windows 32 for, which is that Motorola program that, yes, we'll talk about in a minute as well. But we're just going to run the installer here. Now, this is, if you were wondering, a genuine copy of Doom on these floppy diskettes here. I just copied the contents over to this folder. So we're going to run this and see what happens. And hey, look at that. Where do we want to install? Yeah, we want to install the drive C, Doom. And yeah, it should just find everything automatically for us. And yeah, there we go. I think we're done. Okay, so we are off to a fantastic start. Look at that. One thing, if you were curious, I just want to show you on the C drive here, we are currently, with all the stuff that I've copied over, including Half-Life, which is just that full, that already installed copy, we are using 1.09 gigabytes of our 2 gigabyte drive, so just over half, and we have 894 megabytes free. Oh my freaking god, dude, this look at this. Look at this. And yeah, okay, so it is a little bit laggy, right? That's to be expected, but we'll hit enter here. New game, knee deep in the dead, hurt me plenty. Well, I had to remap the controls a little bit to get it, you know, a lot more playable, but, oh, hang on, let me move the mouse down to here. Yeah, it totally works. So we can use the A button to fire, the B button is our use button, I believe, and then yeah, I've got it mapped to W, A, S, and D, so we can go up here and we can pick up stuff, and yeah, we can play Doom on the Nintendo Wii, which I feel like there are more practical ways to do this, but I mean, that's kind of a given with this being Doom, but it does run under Windows NT for PowerPC, so is this our use button? Yes, it is. Okay, there we go. So we hit B, maybe? Did I hit it too many times? Okay, we have to hit it twice, I guess. That's interesting. I think, like, okay, we go to close this. Okay, I hit B once, right? Oh, no, okay, so it was just lag, yeah. So that's on me. But, yeah, I mean, we can go through and, let's see if I can complete this level. It's kind of typically what we do with the Doom, right? We get here to the end. Okay, there, I hit B. It's not opening. And there I hit it twice and it opens. So, okay, maybe that is lag. Maybe it's just something with the button configuration. It's probably just lag. Let me see if I can get this guy and not die. I'm at 53% health. But here's the exit. Had to hit that twice again. And let's go to the controls here. Boom. Maybe. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, playing Doom on the Nintendo Wii through NT4, totally possible. And yeah, try and beat that that time there. So we'll go ahead and just close out of this. And yeah, we're going to move on to Half-Life. But of course, before that we do that, let me actually hit the right button here to quit. Well, we got to do a couple of things. First thing we got to do is update to Service Pack 2. And I've got that stuff copied over right here. So we are running Service Pack 1. If I didn't mention that already, this version of NT already came bundled with SP1 installed. So we can just jump right into the setup. So we'll launch this. and hit next, install service pack. Sure, we'll create an uninstall directory. And then we're going to install soft Windows 32, which will allow us to run Half-Life. Now, you might be wondering, didn't you do this in the PowerPC Mac video and it said it needed Service Pack 3 and you couldn't get around that? Well, yes, you would be right. But I had a viewer named John reach out to me shortly after I published that video, and he was able to develop a patch for Half-Life that allowed it to run on a PowerPC Mac under PowerPC Windows NT Service Pack 2. So we're going to see if we can do that on the Wii here. And if it works, this is going to be pretty incredible because I don't know if anybody's ever gotten Half-Life to run on the Wii before. So yeah, we've got the notice here that says Windows NT 4 has been updated. So we're going to say OK. And I believe the system has to restart, which, yep, it's doing that right now. And yeah, I'm just going to keep using this keyboard controller. We're going to play Half-Life with it. A regular keyboard and mouse would be really nice right about now, especially once we launch into the game, assuming it works, but I'm committed at this point. So now if we go down here, I'm just going to run WinVer very slowly but surely here. We'll go down to the start menu, go to run. You know, I could have just opened this up with like Control Escape and R, but whatever, we'll do that next time. WinVer, Service Pack 2, there we go. So just to show you, in the C drive here, I've got, this is that full copy of Half-Life, like I mentioned, and if we try to run Half-Life now, it's going to say that it is valid, but it's for a machine type other than the current machine because this was not, you know, compiled for PowerPC. But if we go back to the C drive and go into SW32 and run setup, this is soft Windows 32, which will allow us to hopefully run Half-Life. And when we run this without the patch, we should just get a pop-up saying we need Service Pack 3, which was not ever created for NT4 for PowerPC. So that's why we weren't able to run it in the previous video. There it is. Half-Life requires Service Pack 3 or above. Perfect. And this right here is the patch file. Before we run it, though, I do want to show you the last email that I got from John back in like July or August. Sorry it took me so long to get to this, but hey, I think we have a really good excuse to try this out now because he did send me one version of this that I couldn't get working, and so he made some changes to it. And what he says is that the engine previously didn't run because of some uninitialized struct in initialization, and NT4 really didn't like that, so I fixed that. The SP3 pop-up was successfully nuked, but a pop-up demanding 16-bit color appeared, and I nuked it as well. It was just a few bytes away from the SP3 requirement, according to IDA. Now the menu loads, and it did the classical CD check when I tried to start the game. That also has been nuked. I'm finally able to run the game in software mode. DirectX may work, but it might be too outdated even in 1998, and OpenGL just didn't work at all because it just doesn't. Gee, what a great description of OpenGL. And the performances, you'll see it when you get there. So yeah, let's see it. So I believe we just have to run the patch. Oh my God. Holy, it was that simple? This actually works. Are you kidding me? No way. No freaking way. Okay, so, yeah, okay, new game. Let's just do, yeah, medium. Let's just do it on default settings. Okay, selected video mode is not available. Was this one of the pop-ups he mentioned? No, that was about 16-bit color. We may have to go and manually set the, because, you know, it might be on DirectX right now. I don't know. Let's see. Let's go to configuration, video modes. I mean, the fact that, oh, there's no display mode. Okay, and OpenGL. Okay, well, we have some modes for OpenGL. But yeah, software does not even give us a display mode. And I'm sure this is because of the fact that we're doing this on the Wii, because this, you know, is a little bit different than running under the PowerPC Mac, I imagine. Because that's what he did, you know, in this email. That's what he was running it on, from my understanding. And I think there was a display mode under software. We don't have that at all. So maybe we can do OpenGL? Let's do it on the lowest possible settings. And just, yeah, default driver, hit OK, done. Oh my gosh, if this actually works, dude. Let's do medium. Ah, I freaking knew it. Selected OpenGL mode is not supported by your video card. It says this every freaking time. I can never get OpenGL working, no matter like what system I try it on. But we got to the freaking menu, man. That is insane. So yeah, this actually works. And I imagine if I was doing this on the G3 system that I was using in that previous video, we should have been able to go into the software mode there. I also just tried OpenGL on 640 by 480 because it does say that that is like the most recommended mode or whatever. Let's just go back in here. 640 by 480 is recommended as the most reliable OpenGL mode. So yeah, we did that. We can try to change the 3DFX mini driver. This never actually makes any difference because of course it doesn't, but we'll try it. Yeah, no, there you go. But still, that's pretty impressive, I gotta say. So I think that is pretty much gonna wrap it up for this episode. That is installing Windows NT 4.0 on the Nintendo Wii and navigating around in it using the GameCube ASCII keyboard controller and actually getting Half-Life to run, at least, you know, getting to the menu, which I'm going to say is like half a victory. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, get subscribed, maybe consider becoming a patron or a channel member to get early access to these videos before anybody else. But either way, I just want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.